And welcome to Blair Academy for the 2019 Prep A Softball Championships today between the Blair Academy Buccaneers and the Lawrenceville Big Red. On Play-by-Play Sports Network, I'm Tim Catalfamo on this beautiful day. Much different from what we've had the last couple of days. A lot of rain within the northern and central New Jersey areas, but we are ready to go nonetheless for this Prep A Championship. Lawrenceville will start out at the plate as Blair in the home white uniforms with blue lettering sprinkled across this beautiful facility. First strike there at the plate right now for the Bucks is Allison Hallworth, the shortstop for the Big Red. And on the pitcher's mound for Blair, we have Jess Shable. I was talking to some of the Bucks ahead of time. They feel very comfortable with Shable at the mound. That one's foul. So for the Bucks, it's Shable at the pitcher's mound. On first base, we have Gwen Staphin. Jenna Van Valkenburg at second. Shortstop is Katie Miller, number 9. Jess Van Valkenburg, the other sister, at third. As that is strike number 3 and the first strikeout, therefore, for Shable. Lindsay Rice in left field, Grace Hogue in center field, and Rachel Nehemiah in right field, with the catcher being Ashton Martini. Up to bat right now for Lawrenceville is Maddie Zella. First one is a little outside. As the umpires call time just momentarily. In the outfield, Rachel Nehemiah had to bend down to tie her shoe. Zalesnik kind of tried to, I'm not sure if that was an attempt to bunt the ball or run up and take a swing. It was an awkward play at the plate. That one was tipped, so it'll be foul. Zalesnik, the catcher for Lawrenceville, took a swing. Strike 2. Should be strike 3. And now there's a dispute going on between the officials. I thought that was strike 3, but the officials, or the umpires, I should say, at the mound called that strike 2, and the call came from left field, rather, one of the umpires right in front of us, to deem that strike 3. So second straight strikeout for Jess Shable for Blair. Up next at the batter's box is Alina Balwitz. Lawrenceville, a team that comes into this Prep A Championship 15-3 overall. They took down Hun yesterday in the semifinals, won that game 6-5. That was an emotional game for many reasons. They had to come from behind late. It's a bullet there by Shable right down the middle on Balewitz. It's one of those games for Lawrenceville after they took down Hun yesterday where there was a lot of celebration that was going on. In fact, a lot of the family, players, and parents that are involved with this Lawrenceville softball team were on the field for about an hour and a half. And that will end the top of the first inning for 3 straight strikeouts for Jess Shable. 3 batters, 3 strikeouts, and now it'll be Blair on offense as Lawrenceville will trot out and set things up in the outfield. So again, Lawrenceville and Blair squaring off here on Play-by-Play Sports Network. Lawrenceville 15-3 overall, Blair 13-3. They were the Maple League champions this year. Caroline Conforti-Browse, the head coach for the Blair Academy Books, has been at that position for over 25 seasons now. John Schneal in his 32nd season on the side for Lawrenceville. I was talking to him pre-game a few moments ago. He told me that despite Lawrenceville losing 2 straight games to Blair this year at 2 different times, he thinks his team can perform much better in this Prep A championship game than those first 2 games and can possibly pull off what some consider to be an upset if they could take down Blair Academy this afternoon. This is the 3rd time these 2 teams have played each other. I mentioned how Lawrenceville yesterday had taken down Hunn to get to the semifinals. Blair a few days ago took down Pingree as well, 14-4. They led 4-0 at the bottom of the 2nd inning and really did not look back. So a very impressive win for Blair to get them this far. First one up to bat for Blair will be Jess Schabel, the pitcher from Blairstown, New Jersey. She is a senior. Again, Blair in the white, Lawrenceville in the red and black. On the pitcher's mound is Kiara Hoover. Changes speeds very well at the pitcher's mound. First one is a strike. So the count 0-1. Now 1-1, a little outside. Hoover at the pitcher's mound. Emily Matcham at first. Mackenzie Bunnell at second. Alina Balewitz at third. 2-1 now the count. Allison Hallworth, the shortstop, number 5. Jasmine Bright, Lindsay Cooker, and Gia Masari are in the outfield. Whereas behind home plate is Maddie Zalesnik. Count 3-1. The windup. It's in the dirt, and that will be ball 4. So Jess Schubel will take a trot down to first base. No outs here in the bottom of the 1st. And coming up to bat next will be Rachel Nehemiah, the right fielder from Japan, also a senior. Nehemiah has a 60% base percentage on the season, one of the better players in that category for the Bucks. Wind up, swung on, and that's going to go foul. Count 1-2. Hoover with the windup. That's hit. Grounder to first. That'll be out. And now trying to make a double play at the other side of the field is Lawrenceville, but safe at third is Jess Schabel. Nehemiah was out at first. Schabel was able to get around and make a nice double to third. So 1 out, 1 runner on third, and now stepping up to the plate is Gwen Safin. That's popped up, and that'll go right to first. Safin will be out, but coming home to score will be Shable. And it's Blair with an early 1-0 lead. 2 outs, 1 more to go to end the inning. And up to bat next is number 15, Jessica Van Valkenburg. Senior from Blairstown, New Jersey. First pitch. A little outside, ball 1. That's swung on, going all the way to center field. It looks like that'll be a single for Van Valkenburg as she's able to nicely make a trot down to first base. So she'll be at first now, and up to bat next for the Buccaneers will be Grace Hogue from Twinsburg, Ohio, sophomore. The 0-1 pitch, swung on, hit, going all the way to center field once again, coming around to get to second will be Van Valkenburg, and then landing on first will be Grace Hogue. So now runners at second and first for Blair as they continue to execute very well. And the team's first at bat in the bottom of the first. Jenna Van Valkenburg now at the mound. That pitch is a little high near Valkenburg's face. That'll be ball 1. So Jessica Van Valkenburg and Jenna Van Valkenburg, the two sisters, here for Blair. Count 2-0. Another high one. That's ball 3. Two outs. That'll be first strike. So the count now 3-1. Tough spot for Hoover to be in with runners at first and second. Swung on, hit to center field, and a nice play made at third to end the inning. So damage control there for Lawrenceville. They survive only being down by 1. I think they are lucky in that sense. They had runners positioning themselves for Blair, but at the end of 1 inning, it is Blair Academy leading 1-0 over Lawrenceville here in this Prep A championship game from Blair Academy. So a little of a shaky start for the Bucks out of the gate. But once they got going, really started to hit their stride. And for Lawrenceville, now it's back to the drawing board. I mentioned at the top of the first, 3 batters up, 3 batters out. So they'll have to make some adjustments. And I talked about how powerful Jess Shable can be. She leads the team in home runs when she's on offense, but she's at the pitcher's mound. She is very tough for teams to be able to beat. And coming into this game, I talked about how Blair is the team really with a lot of the momentum, not just this season, but overall. They won the Prep A championship last year. As a matter of fact, they have won 5 since 2009. Up next to bat is Kiara Hoover for Lawrenceville. The junior from Blue Bell, New Jersey. That's a strike down the middle from Shable. Hoover Hoover, a player that has 3 home runs this season, strike 2. 19 RBIs. And can get on base fairly well, as that will be, I believe, strike 3, unfortunately for Hoover. Make that now the 4th strikeout in the afternoon for Jess Schabel. Top of the second here again. Blair leads 1-0. Up next to bat is Lindsay Cooker. 19 runs on the year. A senior from Ewing, New Jersey. First pitch, a little high outside, ball 1. Count now 1-1 as Schabel fires one right down the center. Cooker, one of the players who usually for Lawrenceville is at the pitcher's mound. Not today. Team going with a little bit of a changeup. Count 2-2 here for Cooker. Popped up, that'll be foul. Goes right over our camera along the right field line. Talked to Coach Scheel for Lawrenceville pregame, and I asked him about changing up pitchers. As I mentioned, Cooker usually at the pitcher's mound, Hoover in place of her today, as that is strike 3. And Cooker will go back to the dugout. But I asked him what the changeup was for, what the reasoning behind that was. He said, just want to just give it a change. Try to throw Blair off a little bit. He's very confident not only in Cooker, but also Hoover. Both of those players have performed very well at the pitcher's mound for Lawrenceville this season. That's popped up towards the left field line. That'll go foul. So the count 0-1 for Emily Matcham, the first baseman. 0-1 pitch. Now make it 0-2. Pitch, 2 outs. That'll be strike 3, and that will retire the top of the second inning. And again, Lawrenceville has yet to get on base. They have struggled to come out of the gate here, and Blair will be up next, leading 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the second. But going back to that point that I was talking about a moment ago with Kiara Hoover and Lindsay Cooker, the changeup at the pitcher's mound. Coach John Scheel, in his 32nd season, told me he just wanted a change of pace, so to speak, trying to throw Blair off. Blair, obviously a team that is very powerful, can put up a lot of runs very quickly. I mentioned their 14-4 win yesterday over Pingree. And in that game, I also mentioned this at the top of the broadcast, they were up 4-0 at the bottom of the second. They did not look back, so that's an indication of how quickly Blair can run up the score, and I'm sure that's on the minds of the Big Red right now. Trying to keep things close as we go through this championship game. So I ran through the lineup a moment ago. I'll run through it again for Lawrenceville. Number 14, Jasmine Bright, Lindsay Cooker, and Gia Masari are in the outfield. At first, Emily Matcham, Mackenzie Bonnell, and Allison Hallworth are the players around the diamond. At third is Alina Bailwitz. Of course, we talked about Hoover. Manny Zalesnik, the catcher. Up to bat now, Ashton Martini for Blair. Martini from Sparta, New Jersey. Runner to second, and that'll be a nice play made at first. Nice throw from Hallworth to match him to make the out. And now coming up next for Blair, with one out here in the bottom of the second, is Katie Miller, the shortstop from Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania. Wind up. A little high outside for a ball. The 1-2 pitch. A little outside, ball 2. Hoover has 10 walks on the year. Swung on, that'll go foul up the left field line. Count remains still 2-2. Swung on, goes right through the legs of Hoover, and she will make it to first after it was a botched play. The ball went right through the legs, as I mentioned, of Hoover at the pitcher's mound. She tried to recover it, and then streaking down the right field line to get to first is Miller, and she will be safe at first base. Up to bat now, Gretchen Mayer, senior from Newtown. As that ball is hit foul behind the batter's box, all the way over the building that is behind home plate. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on, hit out to left field. Trying to make a play is Jasmine Bright. She cannot. She has to recover. Now coming around to third and heading home is Katie Miller. She will come home and score. And making it to second will be Mayer. So a run driven in there for Gretchen Mayer, along with getting a nice double to second, as now she'll come out of the game, actually, and coming in to take her spot at second base will be Sydney Wolf. So again, resetting things, Blair leads 2-0. Up to bat next, taking a couple of practice swings, Jess Schabel. Talked about her extensively during the game. As Lawrenceville will allow her to go down to first base. So now runners at first and second. Rachel Nehemiah, another senior. Mentioned the fact that she's from Japan. has a unconventional swing, let's put it that way. She almost wants to run up across the plate and swing at the same time as the pitch is coming towards her. Keep an eye on that. Count 0-1. That's a little high. That'll be ball one, so now the count 1-1. Wolf and Shable at first and second. 1-1 pitch, popped up in the air. That'll go foul. Count, I believe, is 1-2. In the dirt for another ball. You can see the changeup there by Hoover, and that was one thing that Coach Shield was talking to me about before the game. The changeup in pitches is really what sets Hoover apart, as another one is hit foul by Nehemiah. Lawrenceville trying to avoid allowing Blair to score any more runs here in the bottom of the second. 2-2 pitch is in the dirt. And actually the umpire will say that's a live ball, so runners advanced. Shable went from first to second, and then Wolf went from second to third. I don't know if that hit Nehemiah in the leg, or maybe that wasn't quite corralled by Martini, the catcher. That is swung on and now goes to center field. Coming home to score is Wolf. Shable will go to third, and Nehemiah will make it safely to first. So now a 3-0 lead for Blair here in the bottom of the second. Up next, Gwen Safin had 1 home run and 4 RBIs yesterday in the semifinals. Runners at the corners here. Tough position for Hoover to be in. Another one popped up in the air. That'll go foul. Another one high. Swung on, going down the left field line. That'll go foul. Hit up again, trying to get underneath it and making a play, I believe, is Katie Miller. I'll check that. I'm sorry, actually, that was Allison Hallworth. My apologies. Miller is on the other side for Blair at shortstop. Second out of the inning. Runner still at the corners here for Blair. That leads 3-0. At bat, Jessica Van Valkenburg. Outside. Count 1-2. This could end the inning here for Hoover, which would help Lawrenceville. That one is popped up now, going all the way back to make a play, and making the out is Jasmine Bright for Lawrenceville to end the inning. Couldn't have come soon enough there for Lawrenceville as you started to see Blair chip away and continue to drive runs in. They lead 3-0 as we go to the top of the third. I gave the Lawrenceville lineup a moment ago. I'll give the Blair Buccaneers lineup since I kind of rushed through that at the beginning of the game. Talked about how Jess Schabel is the pitcher, number 13, doing an incredible job so far this afternoon. Ashton Martini there for the Buccaneers at the catcher's mound. Gwen Safin, Jenna Van Valkenburg, and Jess Van Valkenburg, first, second, and third, with Katie Miller, the shortstop, number 9 in white. Then it's Lindsay Rice, Grace Hogue, and Rachel Nehemiah, left, center, and right field. I talked about how the Bucks earlier in the game, the reigning champions, the reigning Prep A champions, I should say, from last year. They won the Maple League Championship, the second straight year. And the 2 wins that they had against Lawrenceville, they were dominating performances and finished out strong. Now, those games were close, the 2 wins that Blair has over Lawrenceville, as Jasmine Bright bunts it and is not able to get to first in time. So it'll be the first out of the inning after making a play in left field to get Lawrenceville back on offense. She will go back to the dugout. Up next to bat is Mackenzie Bonnell, the second baseman. Another bunt try, and this one is ricocheted foul. But going back to the point that I made a moment ago about those games that Blair had beat Lawrenceville with, those were close games for the majority of the time, but in the end, towards the last couple of innings, was when Blair was able to really turn it on. Another foul ball, the count now 0-2. They beat Lawrenceville on April 10th, 6-0. And on May 1st, they beat them 9-1. So a strong finish, but close games throughout. Another one is foul right over our heads. Count still 0-2. Gwen Safin going to retrieve that foul ball. The 0-2 pitch for Bonnell. Strike 3. Up next, Gia Masari, the left fieldman. One's a little low in the dirt. I believe they called that a ball. Wind up from Shavel. It's going to be ricocheted foul. One and two the count. Another foul. Sorry on the season is 5 RBIs. The sophomore from Trevose, Pennsylvania. And that's strike 3. And that will end the inning as once again Lawrenceville in their 3 sets on offense have come up empty, as we will go to the bottom of the third with Blair up 3-0. It's been a tough way to start the game for the Big Red. But for Blair Academy, really business as usual, as they have had many games this year where they have beat opponents very handily. One thing that's interesting about Lawrenceville, and I was talking to Coach Scheel about this before the game, they're very loose, the Big Red are. In fact, he told me that, in his words, they're playing with house money. They believe that while Blair may be better on paper, they've got nothing to lose. They were knocked out of the semifinals last year and didn't get to the championship game. They won their semifinal game against Hun yesterday. So they feel that they've already gotten to the point where they can call it a successful year, win or lose. So they just want to come out and play a strong game, and they have done that so far. The problem has been they can't get any offense going, and it's, as I mentioned a moment ago, batter up, batter out for Lawrenceville. And the first 3 innings thus far. Up to bat next, Grace Hogue, the sophomore from Twinsburg, Ohio. So that one goes way foul down the left field line. Another one goes foul. Count, I believe, 1-2. It's low. Actually, no, the officials say that that was a swing by Hogue, and that'll be the first out. Up next, Jessica Van Valkenburg. Her sister Jessica. Very good chemistry between the two of them on the field. That one is fouled. Wind up from Hoover. A little bobbled by Zalesnik, but she's able to recover. That one will go foul. A lot of the Buccaneers being very aggressive, swinging at a lot of different pitches, and that's something that is a strength of Kiara Hoover. Changing things up. That one swung on. Going right to second base and making a nice play. Coming in from shortstop is Allison Hallworth, making the second out of the inning. Nice athleticism coming all the way over from the shortstop position to make a play at second base. So 2 players up, 2 outs so far for Blair here in the bottom of the third. They lead 3-0. This is Ashton Martini, the catcher, at the plate now. It was a perfect 3 of 3 at bat yesterday versus Pingree. Count now 1-1. Swung on down the left field line, making a play at first and getting the out is is Matcham after a nice throw from Balewitz. And that will retire the bottom of the third. It's the first inning, or the first time at bat, I should say, for Blair that they have come away scoreless. Lawrenceville will be up to bat next as we go to the top of the fourth. Caroline Conforti-Browse, the head coach for the Blair Academy Bucks, teaches English here at Blair Academy and has over 25 years coaching experience here for the Buccaneers. Made some last-second adjustments before the game started. But is someone who, talking to her pregame, felt very confident about this matchup this afternoon. And so far, it has been Blair that has been comfortable with the performance that they have shown. Up 3-0. And for Jess Schabel, she so far has put on a clinic. So far pitching a no-hitter. Again, so far we have a long way to go, but so far has done a very nice job. Not allowing Lawrenceville really any opportunities to not only get on base, but just to get out of the batter's box. That one goes foul for Allison Hallworth, shortstop. There's 22 runs, 13 hits on the year, make it 14 as that one goes foul. The freshman from Lumberton, New Jersey. The 0-2 pitch. A little outside, ball one. Second ball now from Schabel. Hallworth is someone who has been walked 13 times this year. She's one away from making that trip down to first base. The 3-2 pitch from Schabel. Ball four. And now make it the 14th walk that Hallworth has had, credited to her. She makes the trot down the first base line to talk to one of the assistant coaches there. As Maddie Zalesnik now at bat. Second pitch to Zalesnik. A little low. As Hallworth was just barely able to get back on first. Nice awareness from Ashton Martini, the catcher. That one's popped up into the air. And will go on to the roof of the building behind home plate. If you're keeping score at home, that's now the second ball that is on top of the Blair Academy roof. Swung on, nice little grounder. Going to first, making the out. And trying to make the double play there is Safin. She knocks Zalesnik out, but Hallworth is able to get to second. As Alina Balewitz now comes up to bat. The sophomore from Kendall Park, New Jersey. Nice hit, going all the way back to center field, and that one is going to go foul right at the last second. It goes over the wall, but is not in play. It was almost the 5th home run for Balewitz on the year. It goes foul right at the last second. It was an opportunity for Lawrenceville to get back into the game. That one is low. Runner on second, 1 out here. Top of the 4th. Another ball. Dealt from Schabel. Umpire deems that a strike, a little bit low, much to the dismay of Coach Scheel. Three-two pitch. Swung on, strike 3. So that's now the 2nd out here in the top of the 4th. Up next, Kiara Hoover, junior from Bluebell, New Jersey. That one is a strike as Hoover tried to take a crack at that one. Hallworth at second, waiting to see if she can be driven in here. That one is in the dirt. Being told it's a 1-1 count. Strike 2, so the count now 1-2. Schabel trying to get another one out. This one goes right down the right field line, still in play. Coming around and trying to come home to score is Hallworth, and she gets her first run of the afternoon, as that will officially be an RBI credited to Hoover, who gets to first. And for Lawrenceville, a much-needed run as they pull to within 2, 3-1 here at the top of the 4th. Lindsay Cooker now at the plate, trying to see if she can help her team build on a little bit of momentum. Runner on first, 2 outs. And the count now 1-1. Cooker, the senior from Ewing, New Jersey. Smacks that one, and what a play made by Schabel. Was going towards center field, and Schabel just simply put her glove up, made the catch to end Lawrenceville's shot at trying to get more runs at the top of the 4th, as we will now head to the bottom of the 4th inning with Lawrenceville down by 2, 3-1. Certainly the Big Red would have liked to have had a couple of more runs in that inning, but nonetheless, they get some momentum here, and they're keeping the game close. Question is, can Kiara Hoover, at the mound, so to speak, for Lawrenceville, continue to keep Blair honest? Blair went scoreless the last time they were at bat. It's the first time all game that had happened. They had 1 run driven in the bottom of the 1st, 2 in the bottom of the 2nd. See what happens here in the bottom of the 4th. So again, Tim Catalfamo here in Blairstown, New Jersey at Blair Academy for the 2019 Prep A Championship here on Play-by-Play Sports Network. A lot of action taking place on our network today. We have a couple of baseball and softball championships playing out all around the same time. A beautiful day, temperatures in the 60s with bright sunshine, much to the delight of many players, coaches, and fans that have struggled the last couple of days. The semifinals were supposed to take place on Tuesday. They were pushed back because of the weather. Were decided yesterday. And here we are with the championship game being decided this afternoon in front of a decent crowd in the surrounding area behind home plate. Kitty Miller at bat right now as she pops that one up towards right center field, and coming in to make the play, Mackenzie Bunnell. So the first out here in the bottom of the fourth. Up next, Ashton Martini. That one is a strike dealt from Hoover. I apologize, this is actually Gretchen Mayer, number 18, not number 16, for Blair Academy. That one is hit foul down the right field line. Count now 0-2. Mayer, one of the senior leaders here on Blair's roster. Count now 1-2. One-two pitch. Strike three. One more out to go for Lawrenceville to close out this inning. As coming up next into the batter's box will be Jess Schabel. First pitch to Schabel is in the dirt, ball one. As the two pitchers squaring off with each other now. That one's a bullet down the center. Count now 1-1. Schabel taps that just a bit. It'll go foul. Looked like she wanted to pull that one back and not take a swing at the last minute, but it ricocheted off of her bat, so the count now 1-2, 2 outs. 1-2 pitch from Hoover. It's in the dirt. It's ball two. And this is what you come to expect from Hoover as a pitcher. Changing things up. Being very inconsistent as far as the amount of pitches that she throws, as Hoover makes a nice play as that one was popped up and getting underneath it to make the out and end the inning was, you guessed it, Kiara Hoover. Top of the fifth that we go, with Blair leading 3-1. So a decent job in the fourth by Lawrenceville, at least making things interesting. As I mentioned, pulling to within 2. Having a nice defensive hold there. And now we'll see what the Big Red can do on offense. Just joining us, I mentioned earlier in the game how both these two teams got here. Lawrenceville took down Hun yesterday, 6-5. It was an emotional win. More on that in a second. Whereas Blair took down Pingree, 14-4. For Lawrenceville, it was an emotional win yesterday, being that it was senior day. Lots of seniors on this Lawrenceville roster. And certainly a much delightful win to a lot of the fans that were in attendance. In fact, Coach John Scheel, in his 32nd season, was telling me pregame, the parents, fans, and even some of the players, after that game, after that win against Hun, were celebrating for about an hour and a half, giving speeches in front of the crowd that was there. It was an emotional day and an emotional win. Up to bat now for Lawrenceville is Emily Matcham, the junior from Cranberry, New Jersey. Count 1-1. Matcham on the year, 13 hits, 8 RBIs. One's in the dirt. Count 1-2. Swung on, going right down center field and making the play and the out at first base is Jenna Van Valkenburg, swinging it over to Gwen Safin to make the out. Some nice teamwork there from the first and second baseman. As up to bat next is Jasmine Bright, the left field player who made a nice play, I believe, at the bottom of the third, making the out to, at that point, retire the inning. Count 0-1 for Jasmine, who hails from Merrick, New York. Strike two. Oh, 2 pitch. It's a foul. Bright, one of those players that has 7 RBIs on the year. That one's a little high. That'll be ball 1. Count 1-2. The 1-2 pitch. Swung on, strike 3. It's now the second out of the inning. And Lawrenceville down to their last chance here in the top of the 5th to try to cut into the Blair Academy lead. Mackenzie Bunnell at the plate now. Sophomore from Brooklyn, New York. That one's a little high from Shable. And really, so far, you have to credit Jess Shable to doing a very nice job, not really allowing Lawrenceville to build any momentum. Another strike there down the middle for Shable. Very consistent. And with the exception of that one run driven in at the top of the 4th, Lawrenceville has had difficulty trying to just get on base. Bunt attempt here from Bunnell. Goes foul. The 1-2 pitch, 2 outs. Strike 3. So a nice job once again by Jess Shable, keeping Lawrenceville scoreless here in the top of the 5th, as we will go to the bottom of the 5th inning. And we'll see if Blair can try to pull away in any way. It's still close. But the momentum obviously has been in Blair's favor from the beginning. If Blair is able to take home the Prep A championship, That'll be the second one in a row. Mentioned that they have won 5 championships in the last 10 years, 2009, 2012, 2014, 2015, and 2018. Under head coach Carolyn Conforti-Browse. Still have a little while to go before they can achieve that. But are well on their way so far. Coming up to bat will be Rachel Nehemiah. One of 5 seniors on the team this year. And Nehemiah so far has had a successful game. Talked about the unusual swing that she has. Gets a little bit of a running start, I guess you could say, and then takes a swing. That one's hit foul. Strike 2. And now actually they'll say that's 3 strikes. I was under the assumption looking at the umpire that was strike 2, but they changed it at the last minute. So that'll be the first out, and a strikeout credited to Hoover. This is Gwen Safin now at the plate. Mentioned the good game that she had yesterday against Pingree. Has been fairly quiet today, hoping to change that this time. That pitch a little high from Hoover. Another one in the dirt. There's the windup from Hoover. Popped up, going to left field, and getting underneath and making a diving play to get the out is Jasmine Bright. That's the second time that we have seen in this game. Jasmine get underneath and make a play in left field. So a good job by Jasmine. Next up to bat, Jessica Van Valkenburg, the senior from Blairstown, New Jersey. That was a bullet there from Hoover. Count 0-1. That one is still in play. Little grounder goes to first, and making the out is Matcham, and that'll end the inning. Nice teamwork there from Hoover to Matcham to make the play. Blair remains ahead 3-1 as we will head to the top of the 6th. So crunch time here for the Big Red. Coming down to it. They are still in this game, but they don't have too many opportunities left. Mentioned how they made a little bit of run at Blair in the top of the 4th, getting 1 run driven in. They had a couple of players that were on base at the time, but they were not able to capitalize on that opportunity. And that's really how the game has gone. Blair got out to an early 3-0 lead, with 1 run being scored at the bottom of the 1st, 2 in the bottom of the 2nd. And we've really been holding steady for the time being. But ever since the bottom of the 2nd, Lawrenceville has done a nice job of slowing down Blair. Of course, you have to credit Hoover at the pitcher's mound, doing a nice job, changing up her pitches. Just like head coach Shield had told me beforehand she would. Question is now, can Lawrenceville get after it on offense and try to draw even closer here in this Prep A championship? At bat right now, Gia Masari. First pitch to Masari is a strike. So Jess Schabel continues to make it tough for Lawrenceville. That one goes behind the plate. 14 hits this year for Masari, 11 runs, and 5 RBIs. Masari tries to bunt that one. Goes foul. Count is 1-2. Pitch from Schabel. That one's popped up, and that'll go foul, nearly breaking a window. That's close. The 1-2 pitch. Popped up. Going this way, right towards where we are, nearly hits us in the back. So that'll be foul. Wasn't sure if I should take my headset off and run, or if I should just stay put and take the shot. That goes over our heads. Still a 1-2 pitch. Yes, thank you. Popped up again. This one going foul in left field near the parking lot. The 1-2 pitch to Masari. Hits her in the back. And she'll take a walk down to first base. So Masari absorbing some contact. Nothing intentional there from Schabel, just trying to make the out. As you saw, we were at a 1-2 count for a while, and Schabel, I'm sure, was getting frustrated, just trying to make the out. And was a little off target, but nonetheless, Masari now on first. Next to bat is Hallworth, making a play, and she will get to first after it was bobbled by Gwen Safin, who had come off of her post at first to try to come out and make a play. And now runners at first and second for Lawrenceville, as head coach Carolyn Conforti-Browse will call time for the moment. So Allison Hallworth getting to first. Masari, after getting hit in the back with a pitch, has consequently moved her way to second base. And an opportunity brewing here for Lawrenceville, down 3-1 here in the top of the sixth. Up to bat, Maddie Zalesnik. First pitch from Schabel is a little low. And now a botched throw to second. Going to third is Masari. And then consequently, Hallworth will go to second. So Masari goes to third, Hallworth to second. After a botched play, it was originally bobbled by Martini. Runners were trying to advance as a result, and Lawrenceville is able to capitalize. Zalesnik, a running start there, trying to get to first and possibly drive Masari in. The pitch to Zalesnik. It's not even close. Hits the back of the protective fence behind home plate. That was actually fouled, pardon me. Count is 1-2. So it'll be deemed the ball. Now count 2-2. For Zalesnik, junior from Lawrenceville. Strike 3. Runners still at scoring position at second and third for Lawrenceville, as coming up to bat, Alina Bailwitz. .24 runs on the year, 20 RBIs. So definitely a player that Lawrenceville would want at this time, being at the plate. She knocks one to the shortstop, or I'm sorry, actually to the second baseman, Jessica Van Valkenburg, who was out of position but is able to make the play and tag her out. However, coming home to score was Masari. So Masari comes home to score. It's now 3-2. Hoover, who had originally gone up to bat, now makes a walk down to first base. So now runners at the corners for Lawrenceville, as Lindsay Cooker is at the plate. First pitch, little high. Martini tried to make a play at third, as Hallworth is anxious to try to tie this game home. Hoover has now moved from first to second. So it's Hoover at second, Hallworth at third. Cooker at bat. Pitch to Cooker goes foul. Count 1-2. Opportunity here for Lawrenceville. They have to capitalize on this. And that is strike 3. So the Big Red will not be able to capitalize with runners at second and third. However, they do pull to within 1 of Blair as we end the top of the 6th, with the score being 3-2. So Lawrenceville needs a stop here to try to continue to drag their way back into the game. But that's the second time that the Big Red has had an opportunity with multiple runners on base to get closer to Blair and ultimately to take the lead, and they have not been able to do so. They had a similar opportunity at the top of the 4th. They were not able to capitalize. Opportunity at the top of the 6th with multiple runners on base, and they can't capitalize either. So they still are able to nonetheless come away with a run, so they get something out of the opportunity at bat. But it's Blair still on top, 3-2. As we move to the bottom of the 6th. As soon as the players finish warming up, it'll be Grace Hogue from Twinsburg, Ohio, sophomore, taking her place at the plate. Kiara Hoover still pitching for Lawrenceville. First pitch is low. That'll be ball one. Count 1-1 now for Grace Hogue. Another swing for Hogue, and now that's strike two. The 1-2 pitch. Strike three. First out of the inning for Blair, as now up to bat, taking Hogue's place at the plate is Jessica Van Valkenburg. First pitch to Valkenburg, that's a strike. So Hoover stepping it up here in the bottom of the sixth, bringing some fire here last couple of moments. That one's hit on. Hoover throws to first and will make the play. Second out of the inning. Nice job by Matcham. Able to recover, was a little off balance, but nonetheless had her foot on first and was able to make the out. Ashton Martini now at the plate. See if Hoover can close out this inning for Lawrenceville. That is swung on. Throw to first in time, and that will end it. So Lawrenceville again holding Blair scoreless. The last 4 times they have been at the plate, and we go to the 7th inning, with Blair clinging to a 3-2 lead here in this Prep A championship. Back here on Play-by-Play Sports Network, Tim Kettlefamo here in Blairstown, New Jersey, here at Blair Academy. Just about set to decide this one as we head to the top of the 7th. Blair and Lawrenceville competing for the Prep A championship in softball. It's been an interesting game for a lot of reasons. Blair jumped out to an early 3-0 lead, and then ever since then it has been Lawrenceville, sometimes painstakingly, but nonetheless getting closer and closer to Blair. And now they have an opportunity here in the top of the 7th. Down by 1 to try to close this one out. This has been a close game so far. Much different from the last time these two teams met, which was on May 1st. The Bucks won that one 9-1. Nowhere close to that type of game, at least at the moment so far. First pitch is a strike. That one going to Emily Matcham, the first baseman who's at bat now for Lawrenceville. Time running out for the Big Red to ultimately try to get in front as Matcham takes a swing. That's strike 2. Coach Shield jumping up and down on the far side for Lawrenceville. The 0-2 pitch swung on, belted up into the air, coming in to make the play, and therefore the out is the shortstop, Katie Miller. So Miller makes the first out. Lawrenceville is now down to 2 more chances. Jasmine Bright, the sophomore at bat now. First pitch to Bright is outside, ball 1. Jasmine has had a very good game from left field. She's made 2 nice plays, leading to 2 outs. But she needs to come up big for her team, as that's strike number 1. So the count 1-1. Schabel with the 1-1 pitch to Bright, a little low. I believe that was ball 2. The windup to Bright. Strike 2. Count 2-2 for Jasmine. The windup from Schabel. Swung on, strike 3. No, hold on. Now the umpire comes in and says that was fouled. So hold on just a second. Jasmine Bright will have one more opportunity at the plate. Looked like a strike from over here, but the umpire obviously having the better view. So the count will remain 2-2. 1 out, nobody on base. Lawrenceville down by 1. The windup. That's ball 3. Jasmine Bright a little anxious to get on base. Deciding pitch here. Will this be a walk or the second out here in the top of the 7th? Popped up into the air right over our heads. That's a foul. Count still 3-2. Blair, the reigning champions in the Prep A division from last year. They're trying to repeat their title. 3-2 pitch. Swung on, another foul. Goes into the crowd along the right field line. Good crowd for both Blair and Lawrenceville here this afternoon. Beautiful weather. Jasmine Bright, though, getting a little anxious at the plate. Still 3-2, the count. Swung on. That'll go foul again along the right field line. Bright taking a couple of deep breaths. Schabel with the 3-2 windup. Swung on. Schabel gets it to first, and that'll be the second out. So now it comes down to Mackenzie Bunnell. Two outs. First pitch popped up, going all the way back underneath to make the play and the game, and that'll be it. Rachel Nehemiah. The first baseman coming out to make the play in right field as history repeats itself here in 2019 as Blair comes out on top and have won now their second straight Prep A championship by a final score of 3-2. Bucks now have won 6 titles since 2009 under head coach Carolyn Conforti-Browse. And for Lawrenceville, they come oh so close. They made it interesting. I mentioned the last time these two teams played, it was decided 9-1 on May 1st. Much different affair this afternoon. A couple of weeks later. But nonetheless, it is Blair taking the victory 3-2. So they are the Prep A champions for women's softball. I mentioned how they were the Maple League champions earlier this year. Clinched that a couple of weeks ago. A tough loss for Lawrenceville, but nonetheless they kept themselves in the game, which was one thing that John Shield had told me before the game he wanted his team to be able to do just to stay in the game and have a chance. They had a shot. They came close. But ultimately, it is Blair getting the win. So again, final score, 3-2. Blair wins. For all of us here at Play by Play Sports Network, I'm Tim Catalfamo. Thanks so much for joining us this afternoon. We'll see you next time. Once again, Blair, your 2019 Prep A Championship title winners today over Lawrenceville. Should I go back on? I wasn't sure if I should sign off.